Okay, I think I fixed it. I started a different stream up, so.
You know what? I'll just do this real quick. There you go.
All right, I see it. Looks good.
The Big Lots globe. That's great.
Can one of you guys post the link to the stream in the chat? Won't work for some reason. For me.
Mm. What do you mean?
Like in the group thing, can you just post the link to the stream that's working right now?
Yeah, let me see. I'm gonna switch accounts. Oh, it says right here, to watching. Mm. There we go. There we go. Oh, it says right here, to watching.
Okay, here we go. All right, now I just have the live chat pulled up on my phone, so hopefully we get some people in here.
Do you have it on the setting to where it saves the live stream after it's done as a VOD?
Yes, it should.
All right. Because I just saw the previous live streams that you've had, they weren't there.
I think it's maybe set on private or unlisted, so I might have to go and fix that.
It's all right. We can leave those in 2024. All right. I see some numbers. Welcome, everyone. We're just waiting a little bit,
Oh,
make
yeah, there
sure
we
that
go.
everyone could get on.
Oh, gee.
Yes, welcome. We can give it like another maybe 2-3 minutes, and then we can start if you guys want.
Sounds good. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to put them into the chat. We'll see them, we'll respond to them. Don't be shy. These are your last moments of 2024. So use them up while you can.
Are there any chats for you guys? Because I don't see any chats yet.
I put something in there so you could
Oh, yeah.
see it. If it's actually working or not.
Okay. Yeah, we can go ahead and start here in like a minute or two. I was just trying to see if we could get anyone else.
Well, while we wait just a few more seconds, I put a poll on my channel community post at that. I was asking, what's your New Year's resolution? Are you gonna expand your collection? Are you gonna consolidate it? Or are you gonna keep it the same?
Oh yeah,
Well,
I
I'm
saw
curious,
that.
what's your answer?
Probably expand.
Expand. I don't know. I have to get rid of some stuff and then I can expand on top of that.
I might be in the minority, but it's not by choice. I'll probably have to be consolidating a little bit as
Mm-hmm.
during the summer I'll be going to college.
Ah.
Oh right.
So I mean I won't be too far from home. I'm gonna go to Georgia Tech, so I'll be able to come back during the holidays and whatnot, do something, but not nearly at the scale which I have right now in inventory. It's too much for me.
No, yeah, I've heard great things about
Yeah.
that school.
Yeah, it should be fun, other than it being a little too. I mean, it's not too far, about 45, 50 minutes. So yeah, it's a good drive. It's not too bad.
Oh, well, that's good. Yeah, I have to lower some stuff because I have too much, and there's some stuff that I could care less about that I could just get rid of or sell at least.
All right, are we ready to start? Sounds
Sure.
good.
All right, so basically how this is gonna work is, this is a Google slideshow, and it has a bunch of the main retailers that carried inflatables like Lowe, Home Depot, at home, and basically we did it kind of how Alex, Josh, and Rob have did it, where they pick a couple of their favorite inflatables from each store and kind of just explain why. So the first retailer is Lowe's, and these are my three picks. I picked the dancing tree, the hammock, and the Snoopy pumpkin. So I got the Snoopy pumpkin pretty close to when it first was on shelves, and I didn't know what to think of it because it's a flat inflatable, and I've never owned a flat inflatable before, and from what I've seen, they don't look the best to me. But this one I actually really enjoyed putting in my display. The only issue is the openings kind of make it vulnerable to wind, so it can easily, fly around and stuff unless you have it tethered well. But the design itself is very good, and I think it sold very well, so I'm hoping we can get more Halloween Snoopy base fans. And the dancing tree is one I got 75% off for $25. The dancing animation doesn't work that well on it, but it was a store model. But I think the design's really good, and the animation's nice. You can pair it well with the saxophone snowman or any other dancing inflatable. And the hammock I didn't actually get, but I just thought it was probably the best inflatable that Lowe's had for Christmas. I just think overall Lowe's this year was pretty bad in general. They only had a few inflatables that I thought were pretty good, which is unfortunate. But overall, I think these three are probably the best that they had.
So I chose the helicopter. I actually did buy this one. I did get it for originally 50, then they went back and got it for 75. Um, I would have been happy paying the 50% off if they didn't have the quality control issues that they've been having. Because I have looked at a couple of these and it's hit or miss in how they are sewn. Especially this year. We'll get into that a little bit after for some of the Sam's Club stuff, because I have some stories for that. I also chose the hammock because I thought that was actually a really nice redo of a more older design that thought was really nice. Personally, if it was maybe 50% off, I may would have bought it, but I don't have anything that's necessarily beach theme, so it wouldn't really work too well. And then I chose the Snoopy pumpkin because I thought The dragon was a remake of like so many dragons they have done, and I didn't really think it was the most appealing thing, but I did think Batman could have been a good contender too. My store personally didn't get Batman, but it got Snoopy, so I really couldn't tell you about that. But I thought Snoopy was an interesting design. I personally didn't get it just because I didn't really want to buy it for the price, but I thought it was one of the better designs of the year.
And those are all great points that Rocky made. I just want to interject here. I didn't put the helicopter on my list, but if you look at the picture, and I don't know if any of you seen it in stores, every time I went into the store, the clear material just looked like it wanted to pop. And I don't think I've ever seen a helicopter that had so much power to it. I mean, you could see everything. Not anything was a little bit saggy. It was perfect. I mean, the design, the colors, everything went through it perfectly. A great pick if you find that to pick up off new old stock. If found on eBay or Facebook, whatnot. Definitely recommend that. But here are my picks. I went a little different than most, I'd say. But I really enjoyed the kangaroo. It wasn't too big. I would prefer it to be maybe 12 feet, but 10 feet, I mean, it did the job. It's a unique character, and I really appreciate the pouch. I mean, it was just so cool. And they had this cuts at the bottom, so if you had water, it drained through pretty easily, so not any problems with that. Unfortunately, didn't get it. I tried to with their online ordering system, 75% off, but the order was canceled. Then I did the dragon. If you were here last stream that we did, I noted that I could have got this prototype one. There's a thrift store near me who got a prototype from Home Depot. So I don't know if Home Depot was supposed to get this because it was the exact same dragon, same height, same colors, everything except it didn't have the necklace. It was a prototype, so it was quite unique to see
Interesting.
that Lowe's got it. Anything with the dragon's pretty cool, innovative design. The only downside was its price. That was a little high, I'd say. And then Snoopy, again, it just looked right out of the comic strip. I mean, it was a one-to-one comparison, absolutely perfection. So, as the other guys mentioned, we'd love to see more base fan Snoopies.
Absolutely. And also, I want to say, yeah, about the helicopter, I thought that was really funny when I went in my store. I mean, it looked like a bubble just on the inflatable. It was insane. How
No,
there's,
it is really tight. It is really tight. It's a very firm plane. Helicopter. If that's what you're wanting, it has a 125.
yeah, I
Oh,
think
The
that's
that's
one
perfect,
weird,
awesome.
especially for the
the one
price.
thing that I thought was weird is that there's no way to actually get into that clear part.
Oh,
There's like no air pocket. There's like no zipper to get into the compartment for Santa, so that could be a big downside if you're ever wanting to clean the plastic inside.
yeah, because there do come some problems with that, especially if you live in an area that's a little more humid than most.
Mm.
Hello,
So
Carson's Inflatables and more. And Aaron said, yeah, I was going to get the helicopter on my Christmas list, but it was out of stock. That's what I noticed. It sold out very well.
it did. I think it's one of the better ones they've done in a while. It actually looks really nice. I put it out and I'm like, it looks better down on the floor than it does up in the racks. That's what I noticed because you don't get to feel that depth that you see when it's down on your level.
Hello, Happy New Year, Carson's Inflatables and more. Got a few more hours till 2025. It's exciting, and hopefully we'll have another stream going over what we think and what's coming up for 2025. We got some pretty good designs, I'd say. If you went to
Yeah.
At Home recently, you might have seen a bunny that's a little big.
The kangaroo. That actually kind of grew on me a little bit, but personally, for me, I don't have any use for kangaroo.
Yeah, I thought about maybe a Winnie the Pooh scene at best, but if it was in stock for $30, 75% off, I would have bought it, but I was fine without it.
My store had one, I think, for like 2-3 days after 75, and I could have picked it up, but I was like, I don't have any Winnie the Pooh, so it wouldn't really have worked
Me
very well.
neither. We got some viewers now, and also Rex the Halls. He was supposed to join us, but unfortunately he couldn't. So his picks were Batman, Donald, and Snoopy. And I actually also got Batman and Donald. These are two very good designs. So, all right, now we're going on to Home Depot. So, Home Depot for me, I ended up just sticking with two. I actually originally had the Snoopy tree scene, but I removed it because I just felt like it's a good design, but it's not one that I thought I would consider a favorite. Home Depot, I think, was kind of weak as far as their inflatable selection, but I thought the Shivering Milkshake Seam was a great inflatable this year. I know Home Depot likes to get the Shivering inflatables every year. It's kind of a tradition. And at first, I was actually going to try to wait and get this 50% off, but this thing was selling out like crazy after Halloween, and I had to pretty much try to get it full price. It was out of stock nearly everywhere, and the delivery fee I think was like $35. So I went to a store like 20-30 minutes out. They had one of them left, and I got it. It's a really great inflatable. Has a large cheap fan, which is unfortunate, but inflates great, and it's pretty large. It even comes with base fan stake pack. And the Cheers one I didn't end up getting, but I think it's a good inflatable because, you don't it's a relatively new concept. They've only done this in the snowman version, the 6 and 8 foot one, and I overall think it's a good inflatable. So those are my two favorites from Home Depot.
I would have. I just a second ago, I deleted the clankers because um, I personally like the 8 foot one that they did for online Amazon this year, the Snowman. I originally got the 6 foot one last year from Big Lots, and then returned it because of how faulty they are. You get them and they just don't clink, and that kind of annoys me because if I'm buying something that's supposed to look like it's clinking and they don't look like they're clinking, it kind of is just annoying. But I feel that online Amazon one is a lot better than the one that Home Depot has been getting for the last. Plus, it's also a lot cheaper. Well, it was even cheaper because it's like only $80, and right now they're 75. So it's like they're designed for $5 and not too bad. But I chose the milkshakers because I thought it reminded me of an older inflatable. I like the expressions on the penguin and snowman face. And the Snoopy, I wish it was bigger. I feel I like it. But I wish it was a little bigger because I saw someone buy it and put it in their yard, and for $100, I was kind of really disappointed because the milkshakers are a better value proposition than the $100 for the Snoopy tree. I didn't really feel like there was a lot of good stuff at Home Depot, especially since a lot of it was just copy and paste from last year. And I never really cared for even last year, besides maybe the clinkers, which then the snowman I like better. So, yeah.
And you also got the Cindy Lou from Home Depot, right?
I did buy the Cindy Lou because it was a 4 foot Cindy Lou. It's kind of weird because it's kind of like the one they put on the Grinch arch this year at Lowe's. But I feel like it just, I don't know. I think it just works better by itself than on the archway. I don't know. I've never really I didn't care for that archway.
Someone said Home Depot 2024 was genuinely lackluster this year. Yeah, I think the in-store lineups this year have been very lackluster, except for a select few, which is sad. But I guess online is just becoming more and more dominant. So,
Which it wasn't the case because you don't get deals.
exactly.
Yeah, even though it's lackluster, I went to 3 Home Depots recently in my area for the 50% off, and all of them are out of inflatables, but they all got animatronics. I counted one with 5 minion animatronics, including the display model.
Wow.
So they're having some problems selling those minions.
See, I went to my store the first day they did 50% off. They had a lot of cheap fans. They had one clanker. They had like a couple of the nativity, and they had like maybe one or two of like the sleighs. But most of the good stuff was gone. We actually had the milkshake people there for like till like the second week, and then after that, it just everything sells out right away. I think people just get more in the spirit like within the second week of December instead of like November. It's Thanksgiving at that point. No one wants no Christmas.
Hey, I don't blame them, but yeah, here's my pick. I was not a fan of much of the Home Depot ones for Christmas this year, nor Halloween, but this one did stick out because I own a lot of this, what would you call it, black light flashing like animation, and I
Or-
own
or
a few
marketing.
of these inflatables, and I love pairing them. So it doesn't look good if you have one, but if you have multiple and you can kind of create like a scene with it, it just lights up your whole yard. Basically, I didn't need to put any additional lighting in my Halloween display if you've seen a video of it, because these guys were just so bright because I put them all together and they were flashing everyone. Hopefully, it didn't cause someone to get in a car accident or whatnot. But no, I love how we get an archway with this technology. So again, if you are putting it standalone, not that great. But if you have a scene, I say, yeah, add it on.
Yeah, I just can't
Actually,
believe that this is the only new base fan for Halloween this year at Home Depot. It just goes to show you the inflatables are really dying off there, which is sad, but
I honestly think Home Depot will eventually just go 100% animatronics.
yeah.
I feel like, or they go to those figurines.
And then Rex's picks were Stitch with the ukulele, the Vampire Donald, which I know he got, the Milkshakers, and the Snoopy with the tree. All right, now we're heading on to Walmart. So here are my 4 picks. Now I was thinking about maybe removing 1 or 2, but I just kept all of them here. The Snow Globe I know is technically, you could consider it Walmart or not because it was only online and it was technically in store at home, but I thought I'd throw it in for Walmart because I think it's a good inflatable. It's probably my top 3 globes they did this past year just because it's simplicity. It's, a traditional winter scene with Santa, a snowman, and a tree. But, I was tempted to get it when they had it on sale for $79, and I just ended up waiting and it sold out, which is okay because I ended up getting another globe. But I think it's an overall really good design. And the rubber duck I know is kind of random, but I threw that in there because ducks are my favorite animal. And I've always loved the 2014 one from Lowe's, so I was excited to see Gemmy bring back a Halloween one. So I definitely had to get that. The slide is not one I would have particularly got myself, but I think it's a good inflatable. The penguin's animated on it, which is a nice touch, and it overall looks good. The only thing I don't like is Santa's eyes. I think they're a little bit too... They don't look very good in my opinion. The eyelashes are just weird. And the margarita glass, I actually really like. Exactly. But the margarita glass I thought was pretty funny. It's not, I didn't pick it up, but I really like the use of the tinsel fabric for the salt. I think that was very clever. And overall, it just looks really cool. It's kind of funny Walmart's doing more with the drinks because I know they had the Halloween one for, with the ghosts. But I do enjoy it, and I think these are pretty decent inflatables.
So I was gonna put the at-home Walmart globe, but I was like, I was gonna give props for the Grinch globe. Only issues that I've been had that a lot are very common with the Grinch globe is that they're either damaged right out of the box, that's like cuts or something, or they're not sewn on properly. If you can get one that's decent, that's actually really nice. It's actually a really nice globe. I really think they could have done maybe added some, maybe added like something in the back. I feel like just the present stack and the Grinch and the Max does it justice, but it's missing something. I feel just a little bit because it is kind of small. But if you want more of that, I guess actual snow globe, I guess characters are kind of smaller in there, and I guess if you look at a lot of snow globes, they're kind of like that. But I actually did pick this one up, and I actually really like it because I feel that the green is actually a very interesting base color for a globe. I wish there were 3 lights in the base instead of the 2 because it'll just light up 2 sections, or it won't light up the whole entire Merry Grinchmas. But I do the slide. If I could have gone that cheaper, maybe 50, maybe 75, I probably would have gone it because I actually do like it. It's not the worst design ever. Like Liam said, Santa's kind of grillish a little bit with the eyelashes. I did like the Here for the Booze. I actually didn't pick that one up. I could have bought one when they were like 25% off online, but I never got to it. And then they had the margarita glass, which honestly is not the worst design ever because it uses tinsel, it uses a lot of multimedia fabric. I honestly think that was one of the better designs for Walmart this year.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
I did like the creativity of here for the booze, but the ghosts weren't gonna go very well with what I had, so I didn't pick it up. Unfortunately, I actually did like it, but um, it is also kind of small. I wish it was a little bigger, honestly.
All right, yes, I definitely agree. So let's start off with that one. So here for the booze, awfully, I mean, it's just such a creative way to, I guess, indicate an adult theme within like a children's design because it looks so happy, but once you kind of understand it, like, oh yeah. Um, Little downside is the cheap fan. Obviously, if it had a base
Mhm.
fan, that would have been amazing. I don't know what is up with Gemmy and alcohol recently, but last year they had the wine bottle at Home Depot, which was
Oh
pretty
yeah,
cool. And then they had this year the margarita at Walmart, and then Walmart also had the booze here. So I don't know what the theme
it's
is.
only
So what
taken them like 20 some years.
yeah, what's the designer thinking? Maybe there's a particular one there that is just a little bit fascinated with it. I don't know, but it's fun. It's different, right? And it
Mhm.
gives a use to inflatables other than just your yard. Like I could see definitely the alcohol variants being used for parties that are
Christmas
festive
party,
in a
yeah.
way. So that's good. But apart from that, the Grinch Globe, having a licensed globe is something that is always a plus. And I don't know if any of you remember the original Grinch Globe. It was pretty cool, but I feel like there was just too much going on, and this one's much more simple down and
Mhm.
easy to like digest. I feel like it will last longer. Obviously with it not having the hard pipe, all the piping is
Mhm.
built in within the fabric, so everything with LED lights and whatnot, it's just a much more simple design that is the quality. If you got a good one at that, as Rocky was kind of mentioning, they did have some quality issues, but if you got a good one, you got a good one, and if it was a good product, I bet you're gonna last easily 15 years if you put it in a climate controlled area. And then lastly, the wolf. I wish it had animation, but I love its use of mixed media on the fur, the
Mhm.
claws, the eyes. I mean, the fabric is so simple, but it's intimidating in a way. And I feel like if you place it in the scene well, like between like a tree or a bush or whatnot, and put like a light kind of glimpsing at its face, I mean, it could really be used well. So hopefully it comes out again with animation or something. But yeah, definitely would pick that up.
Yeah, I thought the werewolf was kind of cool too. It's just I don't think my store actually got it. My store barely got anything.
Oh, our store had a lot of them. I could have picked up like 4 or 5 of them on 50% off if I really wanted to.
And then Rex picked the Grinch Globe and the Baby Garfield, which I didn't put Baby Garfield, but I actually did end up getting it. I thought it was weird at first, but it kind of grew on me, and I actually used it in my display, and I think it was pretty good with all the other licensed stuff, so I like it. And then the next retailer we have is Sam's Club, which we all only picked one each because they didn't have very many inflatables. But yeah, now I picked the 9 foot globe. I'm not gonna say too much about the downsides because Rocky got this, and he can talk more about it because he actually owns it.
Oh yes, wonderful.
But I really love this design. When we first saw it, I thought it was cool, but it definitely grew on me over time. The use of tinsel fabric all over the roof is awesome. The mixed media fabric on each house looks good, along with the snowman's vest, Santa's outfit, the bag, and the tree. The snow is, the one thing that was kind of iffy on most of them was the fact that it really didn't snow good. It only fell down the very middle. But um, I still think the background in the draped background's very cool. We don't see many globes with that, where it's a separate sheet of fabric that extends away from the very back of the globe. And I think it's overall detailed really well. I wanted to pick one up on sale. Obviously, I didn't just because Sam's Club. I never even went to my Sam's Club this year, so I don't know if it was in stock. I never really checked online. It seemed to have sold out pretty well, pretty
Mhm.
fast, and it sold decently well. So hopefully we can get another globe next year. But I found the $300 price tag to be kind of a big pill to swallow for this, but I think it's an awesome inflatable. So, yeah, we'll go ahead. Go to the next person.
I chose. I did choose the 9 foot globe because I did buy it. I love the design. There is some huge quality control issues that they need to address. So the green and red fabric, even on the Santa and the sack, I haven't noticed it on the Santa or the sack. But on the green and the red on the house, it uses like, I don't know, printed metallic dots. And over time, some splotches that just comes off very easily. Even on the snowman, I've noticed that it actually has been coming off of everything. I haven't noticed it inside, so I wonder if, whatever, but it comes off very easy. From afar, you wouldn't notice. Up close, it's very noticeable. If you have like a shining light, where you look in the right direction, you can clearly tell where it's not metallic anymore. The lights, I love the LED lights. I'm happy they start using those. Very nice. But there is one major. I also got a hole in the plastic. A little baby hole on like the bottom where the tinsel is. And it's not terrible. I think I can fix it fairly easily, but yeah. And then there's a weird thing with the tube, which also determines how much snow comes out because of how they sew the plastic piece to the fabric in the back for the snow. I really I don't know, it's kind of a hard inflatable to recommend with all the issues, because I even had some not holes, but I've also had some seams wanting to start coming apart, to the point where may have to sew them if they don't want to get worse. But I haven't really been. It's just been kind of a hassle. Even the size is kind of big, especially if you're in a cold climate. Putting that plastic away, you have to let that warm up. It's just kind of a pain. Then you can't clean them. You can't even really clean the tinsel.
I know
the tinsel is really hard to clean. You have to have like a dry erase pad or whatever, and then scrub and then if you're lucky, it comes off. But great design, but very faulty.
And you actually ended up getting yours for free, right?
Yes, but it took a while.
Yeah.
It was kind of a pain in the ass. I don't know why they decided to give it to me. I think it was the point that they would have just thrown it away. Because mine was actually just crap. So I guess I have it now, but I don't know. It's just a hard thing with all those issues.
All right, and now we'll move on to Deflated's pick, which is the same as our picks.
Yeah, so it's the same like Rocky and Airblown Addiction just mentioned. It's everything you want, right? You got the tinsel, you got the size, it's massive, you got the string lights going on in the house, you got the mixed media. I mean, it seems like a dream, right? But as you really dive into it, like Rocky did, it's a lot to care for. And if you have a lot of inflatables, 20 plus, you can't be spending amount of time doing this every single day, putting it down, putting it up, and just looking after it. It gets tiring. So that was the reason as to why I do like it, but I did not pick it up. I instead went for the Grinch Globe, a much more simplistic, easy to manage design. You got to remember, if you're going to do display, you don't want to just get what is the best and what looks the best, and you got to take a step back and be like, all right, how am I going to manage this? How am I going to store this? How am I going to clean this?
Exactly.
Is it going to fit well on my lawn? Is it going to be level? So a lot of factors here, and you want to get your money's worth, right? So the tinsel, it falling off, as Rocky said, that will cause thinning to progress a little bit faster than normal. So this inflatable may not
The
have
tinsel
as
didn't
long as a
come off.
lifespan.
It was the metallic fabric.
Oh, the
The
metallic.
metallic
Oh, my
that
bad.
doesn't cause the thinning. That's just whatever they put on top of the whatever. So I don't think it'll cause any thinning. It's just more that it's just a crappy material print or whatever they do to put it on. It's just not suited for whatever. I don't know what they do to it, but it's
Well,
not.
hopefully it will last you a good amount of time,
Well,
I'd
what I've
say. But
noticed is that
again,
only
you're not getting
print.
your money's worth then. If you're just paying
I know
$300 to
exactly.
advertise for
I mean,
metallic and it's starting to fall off, that's a
well, see,
downside.
that's the thing. I also bought the Snoopy doghouse, and that has that crappy metallic stuff too. I haven't noticed it coming off yet because I haven't used it. But I'm gonna see. Maybe it's just a bad batch they got, and it just comes off. But I really couldn't tell you.
Yeah, so I'm very interested to see, how the owners of this inflatable will be in 5 years' time. I might pick
Mm-hmm.
one up secondhand. If I do, I'll let y'all know how it's that condition of what it's in.
Yeah.
But
You also have
I
to be
love it.
fair.
It's great design. I just wish that they could probably, improve on some of the quality aspects
Mhm.
of it. We'll just have to wait. I think if anyone's going to attempt something similar to this, the size, the scope, the scale, the fabric use, it's going to be BJ's. So we'll just have to keep our fingers
Well,
crossed for
see, when
2025.
you look on the picture, it actually looks like it was actual just fabric, like they did, like with the wine, with not the wine glass, the margarita glass, where it's like the metallic fabric because
Yeah.
of the metallic fabric or whatever. That's what it looked like originally. But then and the same thing on the doghouse. I wonder if it's due to they changed that last minute, or it was more or less just some that the image from far away just, you know, from far away you couldn't tell that, because from far away you can't tell their dots. Up close you can. So I don't know if that was a perception thing with the camera tricking us, or it was actually planned to be like more metallic fabric where it was built into the fabric and not just a second layer on top.
I see what you're saying. So you think maybe this was designed and Sam's Club's like, oh, can we do metallic? And they kind of like sprayed it on the fabric in a way instead of actually building it within.
Yeah, it was because what they did is more of like a print. So it's like they
Okay.
printed on the metallic and then they printed over the red on top of that metallic. So it was like a multi-print on however they did it. It's not very good.
That's really strange because they didn't. That was not the case for the archway of the Beetlejuice that also had metallic.
See,
So
I
that's
think that
strange.
was different metallic though.
It was like glitter and it came off from what I've seen, which is super odd.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, like people were saying it would come off in the box when they crunched it in there because it has this glittery fabric or glitter almost.
Yeah, I wonder if that's the same fabric they used on everything and they're just trying it out this year and seeing how it
It
goes,
might
and maybe they
be.
will
It
never.
might be. It
I want.
looks like it was in it though. I mean, that's so strange. Maybe they're trying out something different. But yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that.
No, I wish it was, because that's if it was actually integrated into that fabric. Because I've seen ones that do have it, because the base of the Snoopy doghouse is that integrated fabric where it just does not come off. So that's why I didn't understand why they did it in that way. I couldn't tell you because it's everywhere. It's on Snoopy's hat. I think they even did it on Mickey and Minnie on the tree. I think that's also that weird metallic fabric too. So I
Yeah.
wonder if Gemmy was like, "Hey, we got this new fabric. Want to try it?"
Yeah. But that was Rex's pick, was the Minnie and Mickey scene. So we can go ahead and go on to the next retailer, which is BJ's Wholesale, which I've never been to a BJ's because I don't have one anywhere near me, but you can still buy inflatables online. I believe they offer a thing where if you sign up with your email, I think you can have like a 1-day thing where you can order something without a membership, but I could be wrong. But my pick was the giant sack scene with all of the characters, the snowman in the globe, the teddy bear, Santa, penguin, and the toy soldier. This is an inflatable that I think it's pretty cool. It's a lot to digest though, and it's definitely something that I would see people getting who do huge displays. I could see it being a big showstopper, not only because of its size, but it has a bunch of lighting effects and movement, which I think will obviously draw a lot of attention. It did retail for $330, I believe, which is pretty pricey, but knowing BJ's, they discount their stuff very rapidly in the season, so it ended up dropping. And I saw a couple people in the Facebook group actually snag this for $49, which is an absolute steal for this. I mean, 150 would honestly be probably a steal for it because of how much you're getting. Like I said, has kaleidoscopes, I believe 2 of them, one in the back of the globe and one in the back of the toy bag. There's 2 animation mechanisms on the toy soldier, 2 for the bear, fuzzy on the bear, gold metallic on the toy soldier, Santa's arm waves. You're just getting a lot for a good bang for your buck. So I think although the price was hefty, knowing BJ's, they discount it, and it's very cool. I didn't get my hands on it, of course, but it is a nice design.
So I also chose that, but it was hard because I think this is more for someone that just wants one inflatable in their yard. If you want to pay your $300, you're getting everything in one, fell swoop. I did like the archway. I actually really like the Halloween archway. Deflated actually chose that as his favorite because I actually really enjoyed that myself. Unfortunately, I don't have a BJ, so I decided not. I didn't get it. I could have probably done their where they let you get a day pass or whatever, and you had to pay like 10%, or we had to pay shipping or something. But if you want something that was just one big thing in your yard, for me, this would just be way too cluttered. Because I have a lot of other stuff that I want to put out, and putting this out is just a little too much, I think, for what I do. People with maybe bigger yards where they can have it separated from other things, go ahead, buy it, put it out. But I also don't know how well those kaleidoscopes are going to last, because I've heard a lot of people have bought kaleidoscope stuff and they die really fast. So that's all up. That's just a thing. But if you want everything, you could have bought that. But if you wanted a nice archway, I don't even need an archway, but I kind of like the archway.
Yeah, that one definitely grew on me too, but I just never really, I just didn't know what I would use it for, so I never.
People were getting it for $120, and then they had them even cheaper, I think, when they went on clearance, if they were still at the store.
Yeah, so I've never been an archway person, as I don't have like a good area for people to walk through one. Except for this year on my display, I was able to use like the cat tunnel I had. First time I've actually used it. I had it for a couple of years, but it just fit well as to where I had it positioned. But archways, again, I don't see people walking through them, but I see me incorporating it with a scene. So once I received from Facebook, I got a big spider, that big, I think it's 12.5-foot spider, and it's pretty low to the ground, but it's length, like wide. It's absolutely massive. If you saw my display, you'd see it. And I put it right at the bottom of the tree's base, so it's like a mouth. So the tree's like opening up his mouth, and that big spider's crawling out of it. And it worked really, really well. I mean, I got good compliments on it. I felt like the themes of it kind of fit in. It's not too modern, not too classic. It's just right in that middle ground of not, everyone can enjoy it. It's not nothing too complex. It's easy to digest, and it was a good scene. I really liked it, and I'll definitely be doing that in the future. I feel like if you can put it with another inflatable, create a scene, that's what I definitely recommend for everyone to do. Don't just be one of those people who put everything up in a line as if they're a firing squad, and kind of just be like, oh, this is my display. Do something different, do something fun, put something together, tell a story. It'll be pretty cool, and it's much more enjoyable for the people in your neighborhood, people who see that, because it's uncommon. It's uncommon nowadays. So yeah, I definitely got this clearanced. I believe I got it for $139, which is a good price for me. I feel like you're getting a lot here. good lights. The only downside I'd say is the blinking light and the ghost did not really make sense. I don't know why Gemmy went out of the way to only put one blinking light. If they're all going to be blinking, that's good. But one blinking is a little, I guess,
I think it would
unnerving.
have made. I think it would have made sense if they put in both pumpkins.
Oh yeah.
Too.
Just something. It was just like,
Yeah.
oh, why is that ghost blinking? Probably some people thought I needed to replace it
The
or
light's
something.
broken.
I would totally get it if it had a sound box and all of the lights were flashing. That would have made a really cool scene. Or even if they didn't put a sound box, if all the lights were flashing, which you can
I'm
obviously
waiting for them
modify,
to bring back
that
a
would be
light
cool.
show.
I know. It's got to come soon. But yeah, Rex's pick
Aaron
was...
said archways can be unstable sometimes. Yes, definitely.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had this one on
Mhm.
top of like a hill, and it was pretty unstable. I had to tie it down in a couple places. So yeah, you definitely have to be careful with archways, especially if they're a little bit thin. Not as wide. This one was good because it was wide. You see, like the base of the tree,
Right.
those kind of roots that were crawling out that helped stabilize it. And not many archways have that, just like for example, the Home Depot Grinch archway. I would that one's pretty unstable. I'd say it's just two small thin pillars, and it's not that wide at all. So I'd steer away
I
from
think
that
a
one.
good one was the. I think the 23 Grinch Archway. I actually did buy that. On clearance.
Oh,
It
from
was
Lowe's.
yeah, no, yeah, from Lowe's.
Yeah.
That one
That
actually
one's
is
good too.
actually
I'm talking about
really
the Home
good.
Depot one.
The Home Depot one, yeah, I don't know why they did that because it's like, yeah, I don't know how well that's gonna stand up because I've seen a lot even good built archways from even back in the day. They still have that issue.
Mhm.
No matter even that 26-foot one or whatever they made years ago, that one even has a hard time even trying to stand
Oh,
up.
that candy cane one.
Yeah,
That thing is
from
annoying.
I don't
I've
know
seen that so
for
many
how
times, but
long.
never up straight. It's always doing something else.
Yeah. Unless it was maybe new in the box one, and then even then it still probably had issues just because of how wonky it is. Because I don't even know what fan it is. Because the Grinch Archway from Lowe's had a 80, and it actually inflated pretty well considering. But it was pretty wide though. I mean, you had a lot of girth pillars that were fairly wide, so you didn't have running that issue. But this one is definitely, I think probably what the issue is, more top heavy, and not as wide, the opening compared to like the Grinch one from Lowe's or any other archway they've done. But I mean, they put a 125 in theirs, which maybe it could have needed a 200.
Yeah. But Rex's pick was same as Deflated, which was the tree archon. I really do. It definitely grew on me from when I first saw it. I think it's a pretty cool inflatable, and at first,
That reminds me of something old.
yeah, at first I didn't see too much what people meant by it. Looked like a classic design. I definitely see it in the tree, but the characters not so much. But it's a cool inflatable, and that brings us to our next retailer to talk about, which is At Home. Another store I've actually never been to because I think the nearest one is about an hour away. But it'd be cool to go there one day. So my picks, I put these three: the 20-foot penguin, the Mrs. Claus and penguin baking a cake, and the or decorating a cake, I should say, and the 25-foot snowman. Now the 20-foot penguin, it's something that I think was, bound to happen because Gemmy has been pumping out these 20-foot inflatables like no tomorrow. I mean, we've gotten this multiple Santas. I think the third version or fourth version came out this year for Santa. We have multiple snowmen. We have this penguin now, Nutcracker, toy soldier, if you will. And now we have a penguin. I can see next year we're going to get a polar bear probably. That's what I would predict.
Oh, I want a polar bear. I don't care how much it's gonna cost.
I think that would actually look very nice.
It better be a good polar bear.
I think the reindeer turned out really good, so I think the polar bear would be nice. But I think the penguin's cute. The one thing I would maybe gripe about is, well, design-wise, I think the hat's a little too big. I get it. I mean, it kind of looks cute, but I wish the hat was a little smaller so the penguin itself was taller. And the fan it has, I think it has a 60, which is absolutely ridiculous. This thing should have no smaller of a fan than a 125 because a 60, that's good for inflatables that are maybe 7, 8 foot tall. A 20-footer is unacceptable. So, other than the terrible fan and the hat being, in my opinion, a little too large, I think that's good. The 25-foot snowman's obviously awesome. Gemmy made their first two over 20-foot inflatables. Well, first two 25-footers this year, which, this one and the Grinch. I think it's a really good looking snowman design. I think they nailed that. Obviously for me, it would be cool to get it, but I don't know what I would do with a 25-footer. It's just huge. But it's very nice. If you could get it on sale, I think that'd be worth it. And the Mrs. Claus and Penguin decorating a cake was another one I just thought was notable. It's a smaller inflatable, but I like that the cake spins. It's just a good scene. The only thing I would change is Mrs. Claus, her outfit to be red. I think that would look a lot better because it would pop out in contrast with the pink cake. But other than that, I think they're pretty good.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I can't speak. I agree with Airblown just because I think that if they're going for that pinky pink, I don't know what the deal has been with it, like the pastel pink and the pastel blue. I don't know why they've been pushing that so much for Christmas nowadays. It's not really Christmassy. I wish it was more of a traditional, red, red, green, maybe even white, but I like the concept, but I feel that it was kind of let down just because of I don't know. I just feel it was kind of a little lackluster. I wish, even for the price, I think it was kind of a little expensive for what you were getting. Especially since you could get a 20-footer, but it had a YF60. But still, I almost think that would have been better value for your $60 than I don't know. It was like 140 for it.
I believe 150.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I probably would have saved. I did choose the Globe. I would have chose that for Walmart, but I chose the Globe because I actually did like the Globe. One thing I did actually buy this Globe, and then I returned it because I did end up getting the Grinch one. Then I wanted to buy it again. I was actually going to buy it the day that it sold out, before it sold out. But I think it was a good thing I didn't, because I did buy it in person. I honestly think it looks better in the photograph than it does in person. It does look good in person, don't get me wrong, but I think there's something about, it just loses its luster, how the Santa and Snowman look inside the Globe. I actually do like this design very much, but there has been a lot of issues with the plastic on globes as well. I forgot to mention that there's been a lot of people having plastic exploding, like huge in the seams. I have an old globe. I tell you what, that plastic on there and that glue on there. I even have a couple of whirlwinds, and the plastic on those seem a lot better than what they're putting on these new ones, and it's really sad, because it took a lot of power. It takes a lot of pressure. If you have a lot of pressure in those globes because they're having 200s on the bottom. And then they fill them up and they get really tight, but it's like, even for the 9-foot globe, it didn't get that tight. So I don't know how they're exploding. And I did choose the 25-foot snowman because I was actually very surprised that they made a full colossal 25-foot inflatable. Had a 125, probably a 200, but we should be grateful we're even getting a 125 because I actually did feel how the 20-footers inflate, and they inflate like absolute crap. I have never felt an inflatable that big and it inflates so bad. You're almost you might as well just buy the Globe, even though at home it was like $170 and you could buy a 20-footer for $20 for $30 more, but it was like, for the $79, that was a big steal on Walmart when they had it that low. So if you got it, good for you, because great Globe design, but I don't know. They need to fix some of the priorities and some of the prices because the prices are not doing so hot.
And yeah, I forgot to mention that about the 25-foot snowman. I'm very happy it is made with full colossal fabric. That is a
330 though.
great touch. I know that's definitely a very
330.
pricey. Like, would you rather have that or the BJ sack scene? I don't know.
It depends because it's like not everyone can have a 20-footer. I definitely wouldn't be able to have it up. I was only able to have mine. I had to have my inflatables down quite a bit this year because of the wind. We didn't have a lot of snow, but we had actually quite a bit of wind considering we normally only have a little bit of wind. We had a lot of wind this year, so it was like, eh.
Yeah, 20-footer would got destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here are my picks. A lot of people slept, including me, on this hearse. So it's not by Gemmy. I can't recall exactly who it was by, but it was a pullout fan. Had clip-on LEDs, which was a downside, but the one upside I'd say was just a scale. I mean, it was 14 feet in length, I do believe, and it was just
Mm-hmm.
massive in person.
Was it
Absolutely massive.
Was it detail on both sides?
Yeah, it was detailed on both sides. So it had a ton of. I mean, that's what gave into its realism. So the best thing I could compare this to is that Ghostbusters Ecto 1, I believe, that they had a few years back, that you could buy online. Not the Soundbox one from this year, but a few years back. And that one was really small. I remember reviewing the video by Happy Haunting, and he just looked so disappointed when he stood next to it. It looked like a toddler's car. But this actually looked like a real hearse. I mean, everything was just perfectly to scale. Even the tire on the back, I think it even mimicked a real tire. So the scale was perfect. It was $189, so it was a little pricey. But I feel like if you were doing a graveyard scene or a car crash or something like that, a crime scene, this would go absolutely perfect with it. And I'd love if Gemmy could do a replica of like a large car like this.
Like a hearse.
Yes, most definitely. Like and have animation with it or something like that.
You know, it would be really cool if they actually replicated like one of those old hearses from like the 60s.
I'd love, yeah,
and it wouldn't be too hard because you got everything out there.
Someone actually used that in their yard for a display, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever because it was actually like one of those old hearses from back in the day, like those ones you would actually like. I don't know what films they would be in, but they were like those old timey cool hearses from like the 60s, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it was really cool to see it because it actually made it really spooky.
Yeah, there's so much potential. And then for Christmas, I did the Santa and Mrs. Claus combo here. I don't like Santa's design particularly, with his eyes. He just looks a little basic. But I do like Mrs. Claus. We have not seen Mrs. Claus a lot within Inflatables, especially like standalone. I wish they did more standalone ones of her so that we could kind of like place her in scenes with Santa and his sleigh and whatnot. So, again, not too heavy on the Santa itself, but with Mrs. Claus, most definitely it's nice to see them together. If I do find this and once 75 goes off, I have not really gone to At Home too much, but I'm waiting for 75%. So 75%, if that's there, I'm definitely going to pick it up and I'll keep
They
you
already
all
have it. I thought, are they not at 75 yet?
not my local stores. I've called around some
Our
stores.
store hasn't been at 70.
But
Our store was sold out already by like 50. They have like nothing left. They always, by the time they get to 50, they have maybe like a couple cheap fans and everything sold out. But we didn't get a lot at home. We didn't get the hearse, but we got like the 20-foot cat, the 20-foot tree and ghost thing. We got the Frankenstein, but we didn't get the hearse. We didn't get Mrs. Claus and Santa Claus. We didn't even get the globe.
Oh wow!
And it was funny because when I returned the globe from Walmart, I actually found out that there was a lady there that works I forgot about it because it was exactly the same lady. But she works at Walmart. And I don't know what they did, but I think they let her take it, but she actually has it in her yard. I thought it was so funny because I knew it was exactly the same globe that I had and returned because of how the star was. Because I didn't actually fix the star because when I received the star, it was like a ball. Like they didn't pull out the star, so it just looked like a ball on top of the tree. But the lady, she had it the exact same way, and I was laughing because I know it was her. I know it was exactly the same one. So I don't know what was going on there, but some was definitely fishy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had that happen kind of a few times myself for Facebook Marketplace. Like, I'll have a Walmart store associate sell something, list something, and it's a for store display only, brand new in box, 12-foot ghost. She's like $20, and I go to her and I'm like, oh, what happened? Why are you selling this? She's like, I just didn't want to use it this year. I'm like, all right, no, you did not buy this. This is not yours. This is from Walmart store. They try to play it off, but we know what's going on. It's too funny though.
Well, see, I think the reason why they were either allowed to take it is because a lot of the time when you return the inflatables, they just either get sent back or they get trashed.
Yeah, I'm very interested in that. I'd like to know if there's like a liquidator for Gemmy inflatables or whatnot.
Lowe's, I went to Lowe's this year, and I wanted to get the not the singing tree, but the swaying tree, and our store had 4. 2 of them that I bought were complete doo-doo for the sew jobs. I mean, you had the whole entire zipper area that was coming apart. And then the second one, same thing. And then they also tied the light string way too tight, so it just looked weird. Bought a Snoopy car, big honking hole. Never seen an inflatable with a big hole. And then it looked like this was one of the worst inflatables I have ever seen for quality control. They sewed the car in such a way that it looked like he wrecked. It looked like he literally wrecked. I didn't take a picture of it, but it literally looked like he wrecked. And then they also sewed the tie down like way too far, so it was like on the light.
And there was also
It
a
was
bunch of
terrible.
piled fabric in it too.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of leftover strings. It's like they were just done, put the strings in, shoved it in the bag, put it in the box, and it just sat. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I have never experienced the quality I've ever seen with Gemmy ever. And I thought I had bad luck when I got like seams not sewn. This was just terrible.
The hole was terrible, but
Yeah, I'm
about the
sorry about that.
hearse.
Let's mention the chat a little bit.
Sure.
Aaron says, I think the Lowe's race car that sold a while back was a good inflatable. Yeah, those were those race cars that Home Depot and Lowe's did.
Oh,
A
the
lot of them are worn
NASCARs.
out,
Oh, I
unfortunately.
want those remade.
Yeah, they're nice. They're pretty good. 1-to-1 copies.
Very
That's what I'm
nostalgic
talking
for
about
me
with the hearse.
because I remember seeing those. I think around town. Oh my gosh, I miss them.
You weren't too interested in the swaying tree. I don't think it was a good concept. Like,
I
I
don't
feel
know. It
like the
looked like
one that was a
Elmo.
good concept was the Home Depot. It kind of
Elmo.
looked creepy, a tree with a smile and a face like that. I mean, no smile, no face, it'd probably do better because you could do like a rockin' tree type scene.
That would have been really cool if they made a guitar tree that was rocking, shaking
Oh,
back,
that
and it
would
Oh,
had
be
yeah,
sick.
yeah,
sound.
yeah. I could see that instead of him holding a candy cane, which made no sense.
Yeah,
That would have
see.
been
I
cool.
liked it at the I didn't like it at the beginning. I then inflated him. I don't think he looks as good at. I think the picture on the box makes him look way better than in person. Because even in person, I didn't care for him as much. Originally, I kind of wanted it just because it had a mechanism, but then I'm like, do I really want it just because? And it was like, so I didn't even go back for the other ones. Snoopy car, that was a total joke. I was going to put a fan on it, but I'm like, yeah, I don't think it's worth my time.
But I personally think I didn't really care for the tree at first either because for some, Lowe's has those placeholder pictures that aren't the stock images, and sometimes the inflatables actually look kind of terrible. But I don't think the tree is terrible. It grew on me a lot. I think it's worth it for $25 for parts or whatever. I just am bummed out that the animation on mine isn't very good. I don't know if it's due to pressure on some of them being weird because if they cut the insides,
I honestly think it is.
it's just very odd because whenever I unzip it halfway, it starts dancing good. But about deflated picking the hearse, I forgot about that one. It's actually pretty cool, and it looks huge in videos. So I didn't know how an AH3 though. That's really nice. And then for Rex's pick, he got the 20-foot penguin and the Halloween bluey
The
scene,
bluey scene.
which I actually
That
don't
one
really
sold
like.
like hotcakes.
Yeah, I don't really like Bluey or the Bluey inflatables, but I will say that one's pretty good for
Menards. Menards.
Yeah, now it's time for Menards. Oh boy.
Menards.
Now, Menards. This is the first year I've ever got an inflatable from Menards. Because I live in the South, there's not a Menards anywhere near me, and the inflatable I got, being the globe, I had to get online, and I actually got it as a birthday gift, which was pretty cool. Now, this I love the Menards globe. It's probably my favorite globe this year, just due to the fact that I wanted a 6'1" due to simplicity. Um, and I just have ever since we saw the leak for the Santa Tree Snowman one, I thought a classic Snowman family globe would be awesome. The BJ's one leaked first, and I found that to be a bit of a disappointment because I don't know, the characters just, in my opinion, are a little overdone. The Let It Snow text looks a little off. So when we saw this leaked, I was super excited, and I just love the simplistic look of the snowman. It's pretty much just a remake of the Walmart 2014 one with the twinkling lights, except I think this one's way better because it has snow. And then I also picked, well, actually, I have a quality issue as well. Mine, I first got one with a little hole in the front of the plastic, which normally I know some people were like, why don't you just patch it? But, I wouldn't worry about it too much if it was a twinkling light globe. Not that I'm upset it's snowing, but snow pellets could easily leak out if the hole wasn't patched. But because there was also some sewing errors by the air pockets, which didn't affect it, I thought I would just take a chance and return it for another one. But we ended up calling Menards, showed them pictures of the hole. They just ended up sending us a new one and didn't even ask for us to return it. So I got the second one, had a hole. It was a little smaller, so I ended up just fixing both of them. So I actually have two of them. One of them I ended up getting for free. Um, and both of them, they're fixed. I only put pellets in one of them, and it snows really good, which I'm happy about because I know some globes this year, it's hit or miss if they snow well. So I really love this thing, though. I think it's great. And I'm really glad that we got snowing globes this year, so I could actually, people that didn't have one, like me, could get a chance to have one. And then I just picked the Christmas Vacation car because I love Christmas Vacation. It's probably my favorite Christmas movie. And I know they've done a couple different ones of just the car in the past, but I love that this one is animated with the squirrel popping out of the tree. And this was actually a prototype, I think, from 2021. So it's pretty cool that it actually made it into production this year. So yeah, I think it's still available as well. I'm kind of tempted to get it, but I don't know. I think it's a good inflatable though. So I like both of them.
So I chose the snowman, but the one issue that has been faulty is the snowflakes. A lot of we've someone that bought like 3 of them and they were never worked, so kind of disappointing. I like the Christmas Vacation. I'm actually kind of tempted to purchase it in a way because I have a Clark Griswold I've never used, and thought that would be kind of funny to have Clark Griswold right next to it. Because I like the squirrel popping up and down. I thought that was really cute. And I did like the new Echo One because of the sound box.
All right, then Deflated's picks.
So I did not go with the snow globe as I felt a little bit of fatigue with snow globes. I mean, we got them everywhere. Are you telling me? My favorite being the Grinch globe, just because it's licensed. Something a little different there, and I feel like its value will go up in the years coming on. But besides that, I first went off with the Halloween Echo one with the sound box. We've seen this one before. The only addition with it being the sound box, it's pretty cool. Anything with a sound box, I mean, it just instantly upgrades it to S tier in my opinion. Especially if it's a licensed theme sound box. So I believe it's still available, but it's like $80 in shipping, and I'm near Airblown Addiction, so we're in the South, so it costs quite a bit to ship down here. So I don't think I'll get it. I'll wait on it though, because I could see it definitely returning, as Ghostbusters is always very popular, and the franchise is not dying anytime soon. They just had that Frost Invasion movie come out, so I'm sure they'll keep that going. moving over to Snoopy, this reminds me a lot of the Snoopy from Lowe's that we got last year, except with more detail. Instead of Woodstock on like a present, it's like up on he's sitting right up in front of Snoopy. I find that a little more visible for him.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is much more cooler design. The one with Lowe's, I mean, there's no complaints. That's a great Snoopy car, but this one is just a little more detailed. So I'd pick this one over that. And lastly, the Highlander cow, just because, kind of like with my kangaroo thing, I like seeing unordinary objects taken into inflatables, whether it be, the margarita, the wine glass, the booze, the kangaroo, the Highlander cow, just do something different. And I feel like they did really well with this design, with the mixed media and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something funny Rocky pointed out about the Snoopy motorcycle. It seems like Gemmy just ripped it from an off-brand motorcycle with Santa
Actually,
on it.
I found out something about it. So Gemmy actually did make a Santa version of this. I don't know
Oh.
where it was sold. I think it was Home Depot. I did actually find it. It actually is the same. It actually is this version. It is actually this. And then there was a knockoff. I thought it was a knockoff, but it actually isn't. They knocked off that, but it's basically just a copy and paste with Snoopy on it. And I think it was like
Very
2020
interesting.
or something. Yeah.
I didn't even
Like,
notice. I mean, it looks so much better with Snoopy than for Santa. Oh my goodness! Wow, that's very
the Santa
interesting.
one was kind
That
of
you found it.
interesting. It wasn't bad. The Santa one wasn't bad, but I think the Snoopy adds something. But I just don't know how I feel about this tree. The tree was the one thing that really annoyed me. It's just a tree that's standing up and it's on the back. I don't know. I just kind of felt that was kind of a little weird, but I do like how they brought back the biker outfits. Kind of reminisce of the 2013 one or 2012. I forgot what year that was. One
The
of
one with
those
the
years.
clear material, right?
Yeah, the clear material one, the original Snoopy bike.
All right.
All right, sorry about
Airblown,
that.
are you able to go to the next slide?
Yes. Sorry, I had to go get something, but Rex's picks all. Yeah, he picked the snowman with the spinning buttons in the snow globe for Menards.
I see.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
Reds.
Alex. We do have a Discord server, so feel free to join it if you want to. I think there's an invite, or there's a link I think to join in my my YouTube bio or description. So I think that works. But anyway, we're done with the retailers. So this is the overall favorites of 2024. So basically, our designs that are our top picks that just stood out. And so here's my slide. I kind of did this not fast, but I think this is probably what I would say are my three favorites, which are Sam the Snowman, the Menards Globe, and the Peanut Stage. Now, I'll kind of just start with the Globe because I already said a lot about it, but the Globe I picked mainly because I love the design of it, and it's probably my favorite Globe, but I also just put it here because I just love the general idea that snow globes returned. So, when I put that in the slideshow, or on this slide, I particularly liked this one, but I also put it for like all of the snowing globes this year because I just love the concept and that they came back. The Peanut Stage I really like. It's a great inflatable because it's pretty much every Peanuts character you could ask for, including Schroeder, which has never been on a produced inflatable, only on a prototype rotating globe. So I really love it. I do think it was pretty hefty on the price though, at $270.
Yeah, 279. And then it's now down to 229 at the moment.
My mic just cut out. All right. Well, yeah, it is 270, or now it's 220. I think it shouldn't be more than maybe 200 or 150 because there's no animation, but I think it's great how it is.
Boy, they should have made it a light show.
If they made it a light show, that would have been great. And then Sam the Snowman, I don't know if I would say it's my favorite of this year, but I definitely had the I guess biggest reaction when we saw it leak because I was very excited about it almost every day until they did the pre-sale. I was anticipating for it to become available. It's just a really great inflatable. I've wanted the classic one for a long time now, but those are always worn out and very expensive. So I was super happy to see them bring it back. It was at Tis Your Season, of course. So, this is going on, hopefully, their third year in 2025 of having great exclusives. I use Sam in my display. He's absolutely awesome. I just have to fix a hole on him under his hat, which is unfortunate, but just such a great inflatable and totally worth it.
I chose Sam too. I actually really wanted Sam for the longest time I knew when we started to know about it early this year. I actually was at work. I remember it. I was actually bought two because I wanted to keep one, but ended up just keeping one, even though that one still had issues with it from factory. I've explained this many times. The quality control this year is just absolutely atrocious. I had to go through like 15 inflatables in total I've had that were duds, give or take. And some of them I did end up keeping just because of circumstances, but literally I had to go through like 15 dud inflatables this year. Either they were factory error stitchings to holes to some completely just, or just actually whole thing was filthy from factory. I don't know what they did, dragged it across the dirty floor or some, just terrible. I chose the and then I chose the 9-foot globe because that is the pinnacle of all the globes. I really think this is probably one of the best globes they have done, and it works well with a lot of stuff. It is. I've actually noticed it. If you have it tethered down and it is windy out, it will not. It will not move like a normal inflatable. You have to worry sometimes when you have those bigger some of those taller inflatables. If you have a girthy one like this one, big, wide, and really fat, you don't have to worry about the wind as much because it just kind of just lays there. I even noticed that even with my older 6-foot globe, it didn't move once in the wind. It's actually really funny. Now, if it is untethered and it is windy out, it will fly. I actually did. I actually had this happen almost when I was trying to put it away because it was actually cold out and it was windy, and I had to let it deflate. But while it was doing that, I had to stake it down because it was about to fly away when I had it inflated because I was moving it, and it was like about to fly away. It was really funny. But I really think this is probably the best globe they made this year. I do like the Grinch globe too. I did pick that one up too because I really liked it and I thought it would go well with a lot of the Grinch stuff I have. So that's why but I did choose the 9-foot globe, even though with all the issues it has. But I think that was probably one of the better designs of the year. Now it's Deflated's turn.
Yep.
All right, so I want a little different here. One that really threw me out of the water, I'd say, was the Big Lots globe. I just noticed it. I was like on their website, just looking at Christmas, and I was like, "What? A 6-foot globe?" And then I realized it wasn't Gemmy, and I was like, "You know what? I'm kind of interested." So I went to the store. I had a coupon, and I think they were like doing like a Christmas sale or whatnot. I was able to get this for $40. Just 220s. That's it. Just $40. And I took it home and I inflated it, and I was just amazed. I mean, yeah, it's a cheap fan. Yeah, it's off-brand. It's not Gemmy. The quality is not perfect, but for $40, it's exceptional, I would say. The LEDs are exceptionally bright. It snows really fast and quite strong, I would say. For $40, I don't think you can get anything comparable to this. So I'm very excited to see, how other brands are gonna kind of, try to compete with Gemmy, especially with other inflatables that aren't just standalone, just sitting there. Like snow globes, like animation, how are they gonna incorporate mixed media and whatnot into their inflatables, maybe even sound boxes and light shows? I'm very, very intrigued. And then next we have Halloween costumes exclusive 25-foot Grinch. There were two 25-foot inflatables that were released this year, that being the Snowman from At Home and then the Grinch. The Snowman, while I do appreciate the colossal fabric being all over it and it just, having that extra 5 feet, kind of breaking our record that we had before of 20.5 feet, I felt that it was too similar to the 20-foot colossal snowman that At Home was already offering, that you wouldn't be able to really distinguish a difference with it, especially amongst general audiences. It'd be like, oh, well, that kind of looks like your 20-foot one because I have that 20-foot one that at home has sold the
Right.
past 2 years that looks exactly like the 25-foot one. So that's why I went with the Grinch. I do like this design. It looks nice. And I've read good things about it. The only bad thing is its price. I think it's $400 right now at HalloweenCostumes.com.
$500. I couldn't, and I don't think anyone
Oh,
can adjust
500. It might be 500. It's absolutely insane.
Is
The
it
price
back to
is
500?
ridiculous.
Because it was
I have no idea.
400 for a little bit, but shoot, I could not tell anyone. I wouldn't recommend anyone to pay $500 for the Grinch, even though I don't
Absolutely
mind.
not.
I actually do like the design, but I cannot recommend it for $500.
Absolutely not. So yeah, I definitely like the direction of which this is going. Yeah, make a inflatable that breaks the height, but make a good inflatable, and I feel like this does it well. Something that's different, especially a licensed character that increases its value to years on, and how its popularity will be. So
Mhm.
if this does go below, I'd say 300. I'd say it's debatable. I might pick it up if it's below 300 free shipping. Definitely would pick that up. So it's still available, and I don't know if they're going to go on sale or whatnot. But HalloweenCostumes.com, that is a competitor to see because Party City, they're going out of business. Big Lots are going out of business. So we might
Yeah.
have some exclusive Gemmy inflatables coming next
especially
to
since
HalloweenCostumes.com.
especially since what we've seen with the leak so far, was it Halloween Express or whatever? They
It's
got
HalloweenCostumes.com, yeah.
they got the leaks for the teeter totters.
Oh
It's
yeah, I
like,
remember.
yeah,
Airblown Addiction had a video on that. I'm very interested to see who'll
so
get
they
that.
can get the Grinch one. I hope the Peanuts one is produced.
I know that thing's awesome.
Like I said, even if it is at full price, I don't care. I'm probably gonna buy it just because, I don't think it's gonna be one of those things that's gonna last very long. Especially since we're in the market where, if people see something and they want it, they're gonna buy it. I just hope it's not ruined. Because the Grinch one actually is really nice. We've seen the prototype. But I think now that we've seen the actual produced one, just the stock image or whatever, it actually looks really promising. And hopefully, teeter totters are a thing that are not just, oh, it's here. Hopefully the same way with globes. I wish they would make like maybe one or two globes at least a year like they used to.
Totally.
I know 2005 they made like 30 globes. Freaking 30 of them. It was funny.
Exactly.
But,
Mm-hmm.
I hope they keep on this roll. Someone said that supposedly some of the older designers have come back, but I really don't know how accurate that is.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But,
the 25-foot Grinch.
Well, they might
definitely
be
grew on me.
alcoholics now, from what we can tell.
huh? Yeah. Oh, that'd be great. Hopefully it gets. I think maybe they're getting some new people because I mean it's like, for the longest time I wanted a snowing globe. Got fortunate with one, and then they made snowing globes this year. I don't really. I've even what I noticed is that they get static. I never had this issue with my other one, but I don't know what the deal is. I wonder if it's because of the new mechanism that they use, and it just when those pellets get stuck together with the static, they just do not like to move. But that's why I kind of think the older ones, the original ones, were made were nicer because they didn't get too affected with that static. And when they did get static, they would still snow. Not that they wouldn't, but that's one thing I've noticed with even newer ones. I guarantee this probably was the issue even with some of the ones that they started using the fabric on. But I really thought that was interesting how they get more. I think they get more static, but I'm not entirely sure.
But the Grinch definitely grew on me. I thought originally it was weird how his legs were separated, but after seeing Rob's review and stuff, I actually think it looks pretty good. And the fur effect is kind of neat as well.
Mm-hmm. Didn't they make a small version of this too?
They had an 8-foot one.
Yeah, they did.
They made a
Which would
smaller
be
one,
really
but that
cool
was
to
also
get a
very
combo
nice.
of.
Huh?
It'd be really cool to get a combo of like the two and kind of like I don't know what type of scene you could create with them, but obviously
Hmm.
have like the big one bullying the small one.
Right. That'd be funny.
These are
But yeah,
Rex's
I
picks.
definitely as Airblown Addiction was pointing out the legs. I didn't like it at first of how it looked, but thinking about if they were connected, that would put a lot of pressure on like those seams,
Oh yeah.
and then that would lead to possibly a hole or whatnot. So the way that they separated it, the seams are not going to have as much pressure. Kind of like with the marshmallow, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Colossus one from 2016, I believe, the 13-foot. Because they separated the legs, the pressure was more evenly distributed, and I have not had a problem with any of the ones that I've owned with the sewing
That's
job
nice.
of anything like that.
Yeah, that's great. And then here's Rex's picks. He picked the Batman from Lowe's, the Snoopy on the Pumpkin, the Peanut Stage Sam, and the Bluey Costco family, which I find interesting. They
I
make
think
a
that's
lot
probably
of
one of
them.
the best. That Bluey one, I think, is probably even though I'm not really a big fan of Bluey, I think that still was one of the better Bluey ones they've done.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all the Bluey, wish they used actual lights. Hopefully, Costco learns because they sold really well. But there's also one thing I kind of noticed that the LEDs also kind of seem like they're lasting a little bit longer because by the time you would get to the end of the season by Lowe's, all of their cheap fan inflatables, the LEDs would be completely dead. But when I
Yeah.
went in there this year, they weren't necessarily did they were definitely dimmer, but it like I think they almost have like double the lifespan. It seems like in a
Yeah,
way.
that's what I was wondering that as well because I got the Snoopy Igloo 75% off and it was the store model and the LEDs on that thing are super bright, like brand new, which is crazy. So I wonder if they did upgrade them, which would be great.
I think they added like two LEDs per thing now, but I wonder if they're
Mm,
also longer lasting ones too.
yeah, I wonder.
I mean, that's been an issue for the last 10 years, and it's only taken them 10 years to finally fix them.
I know. And then the last slide is thoughts on 2024 as a whole. So for me, I think 2024 was both a really cool and interesting year and both kind of a not so great year for Gemmy. As far as thinking it's a great year, the overall, I guess, online scene for retailers was pretty good this year. And also, the number one thing I would say is the fact that we actually got snowing globes. I really, really hope we get more in 2025. I know we got that big catalog leak, and sadly, nothing on there. But I have hope. Maybe they're going to make at least, or hopefully, they'll make at least one or two this coming year. I'd love for them to be licensed though, because we got a pretty good amount of non-licensed. But if they did another few of them that were non-licensed, that'd be great. I could see like a Santa sleigh scene. But I really, I really loved that Snowing Globes came back. I think that was a really good idea by Gemmy. From what it seems, they sold very well. I know the Grinch one sold out online.
That one sold out actually really early in December.
I know that was really great,
I think
and
it was like the first week,
yeah, it was actually.
like December 6th or 7th, I believe, or even before that.
Mm-hmm. And also, we just got, Tis Your Season also being a retailer now, I think is going to help, um, shine some light on possibilities for great designs because obviously Mark, or the leader of the company, seems to listen heavily to us as a community, which is awesome. As he made Sam the Snowman and Hermie, which I think I heard someone say that was in the works for like the past 3 years. So, who knows what they've been planning and could release next year, what they're planning as of now, and will release in years to come. So, I think this year has been really good as far as those aspects. As far as in store goes, I think it's getting worse and worse, unfortunately. Lowe's used to be the absolute, I think,
Yeah.
number one retailer for inflatables. They always had the biggest and best designs, and now they've pretty much fallen off to where there's maybe one or two pretty decent inflatables at best, which is sad to see. Of course, animatronics
I
for
still
Halloween are taking over because it's like Halloween. Barely any Halloween inflatables on this slideshow, because unfortunately, inflatables for Halloween are just fading off. There's still a couple good ones, but obviously, not as much as back in the 2010s, late 2000s. But I think 2024 was an all right year. There was good things, there were bad things. I hope 2025 is, maybe even a little better. So we can only hope.
Yeah. Hashtag bring back the whirlwind globes.
Bring back rolling globes, bring back light shows.
Yeah. Uh, those whirlwind globes, those only lasted for like 2 years. So I doubt they're ready to come back, or 3 years or something like that. But I think we're in the right. I think Gemmy is getting in the right direction. I wish. I don't know. I feel what they need to do is they need to stop bringing back ideas like reproducing stuff for the same year that they've been producing. Like there's some designs they're bringing back from this year going to next year, and it kind of gets a little boring because you bring back the same crap. Because like a lot of the stuff at Lowe's, a lot of the cheap fans were just remakes of like 2022 or 21 stuff like Peppa Pig or the Trolls.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even, I don't even think did they get a minion this year?
They did. They got a small one. Bob with like that red pajama outfit, holding his.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was such a weird one. Was that one with the CSI with the black suit ever released?
Oh my gosh! Wait, I just remembered about. Oh wow! Now that you mention it, no, I don't think that was ever produced.
Never got released. That was a prototype.
That was a Home Depot one,
So,
and I think they ended up changing it for the one with the bananas, which I actually like a lot better.
yeah.
I actually
Thank
forgot
goodness they
about that
did.
till you mentioned that. Yeah, that thing wasn't very good. I'm kind of glad that went released.
I still feel Lowe's had probably one of the better lineups, even though they didn't have the greatest. Because I definitely enjoyed the helicopter, and I definitely enjoyed seeing the hammock. Even though I wish they would have gone to globe. Home Depot nor did Lowe's get a globe, but everyone else did.
Yeah, the two big box
And
retailers.
the two big ones that had the globes back in the day didn't get any globes, which I thought was really funny.
Maybe next year.
Maybe that would be kind of cool. I wonder, but Gemmy needs to get their quality control. So here's two things. Gemmy needs to get their quality control in gear. Second, they also need to stop reproducing 20 different designs that were from the year prior. I understand why they would do it for some, but they're just doing too much.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it online. If you're redoing stuff, keep it online. That's great. But don't bring it back to the store because people don't want to see the same stuff every year.
Yeah, it's nice to change.
That's why I think older Gemmy was better in that sense because they didn't bring back everything.
Yeah, it's nice to
I
change
mean, they
it
still
up.
they still don't bring back a lot of the big designs, but Canadian Tire brings back, they've been bringing back that 14-foot colossal Santa and that train for the last 6-7 years.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But they cycle a lot of their designs. But I wish they'd get to the point where we got to get back to where we needed to start captivating the in-store experience because people can look online, say it's great, but online you can see so many other stuff that people just don't know. I wish Gemmy was more informative because if they put base fans on everything, shoot, and then they actually explained, you have actually commercials that actually would be kind of cool. Lowe's is like, buy this Gemmy inflatable, long-lasting base fan.
Exactly.
I think that's what people don't understand is that the base fans last way longer than any cheap fan.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they bring back those pull-out fans. Then we'd be in the right direction for that. That's for
Yeah.
darn sure.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's our job as creators in this community is to inform people and to get people to engage with us and to join us.
Well,
Which,
even if you
I don't have any problem with, but, Gemmy outsourcing that to us is a little bit unfortunate, but, it has to be done.
and the funny thing is, though, Gemmy even does Instagram stuff, and they're always promoting their stuff. Then they keep promoting stuff that's been out of stock for already like 2 weeks.
That's what I'm
Does
confused
that make
about. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, why are you promoting all this Christmas stuff when it's like the 24th of December? No one's gonna find this stuff.
I don't understand because they were just like still like it got to the end of the year and they're like promoting the Snoopy Doghouse at
Yeah, I
Sam's
thought that
Club
was
on like
very weird.
30th or whatever, or like just the 26th or 25th or something. It was really funny.
See this
At
inflatable?
least
You
they're
can't
hosting
have it.
giveaways. I'll give them that.
They do the host, but I don't know how well those are because they only do like 2. I wish they'd do more. Instead of some person, oh yeah, here's 12 prototypes. Here you go. Even the prototypes weren't even the greatest prototypes. They're just prototypes of a lot of the stuff they had this year, which I don't want prototypes. I want unreleased prototypes.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
That would be cool. I got this prototype because Gemmy gave it to me. We saw a prototype of the Walmart at home red globe, Santa and Snowman globe. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that was atrocious. Just atrocious. It was terrible. I've never seen. It was really bad. They wanted to use like the face of the snowman of the Menards globe on the snowman, and then the Santa just looked really off.
Yeah, that was super odd.
Yeah, it didn't look very good. It was it was terrible. I would have never recommended that globe. God.
All right. Well, in terms of like summing up 2024, I can't really say anything more than what Airblown Addiction and Rocky have said. They summed it up pretty perfectly. To give an analogy, I would just think of a staircase, and some staircases have like a landing in the middle before you get up to the top. I think 2024 is that landing. Like we've done a lot of progress. We've reached some goals. We've learned from the mistakes, but I feel like the next years are just going to be an improvement upon that. So we're just at that landing. Got a few more steps, and we'll get to the top.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it because I feel like from 2019 to 2023, those 4 years have just not been very interesting. I feel like there's only been 1 or 2 somewhat special inflatables, and this year has just seemed like it just seems crazy. A lot of us are just baffled because we've never been, we haven't been used to several designs that are really good in 6-7 years. So having all these inflatables that are impressive is just shocking, which is kind of sad to say because even though I just find it so funny how people back in 2017, 2018 were like, I miss the old Lows from 2010, 2011, and now we're looking back and saying, oh, I miss the Lows from 2017 and 2018. I mean, those designs compared to now were extremely good.
I kind of wish, it's like, oh, what was I gonna say? Kind of wish that I hope we're getting to the point where we're getting better designs because there were some cool things that I did see through that. Some cool stuff. They're bringing those like LEDs, possibly the special LEDs with the colorful LEDs that spiral.
Oh, Rainbow Wave, yeah.
Yeah, Rainbow Wave LEDs, which I hope those don't have the quality issues like other LEDs because I would be really disappointed because I'm kind of actually hoping those actually get made because I actually really like them.
Yeah, I hope they're not
But
like micro lights where they'll die really fast.
right. Um, I had to buy SpongeBob. I had to get the 3. I bought actually 3 of them just as for a joke. I bought like for 75% off. I bought the SpongeBob's from Lowe's this year, which surprisingly lasted. I mean, I wish they would have brought back some of the older SpongeBob's. Was like,
There's some pretty cool ones that are older. It'd be cool if they did the 4-foot one of him on the present, like the 8-foot one.
I just wish they'd do more SpongeBob in general. They kind of really screwed up this year. It was 25 years for freaking SpongeBob, and they couldn't produce anything.
Yeah, I was surprised.
They could do a cool globe with him. I feel like kind of like theme it as like the Bikini Bottom.
They had a globe like a weird Noel one where they were like carolers or something like years ago. That was a prototype or was very limited release, which is like non-existent anymore. And would have been cool if we could actually get, but I think At this point, I don't know if we're gonna see because even Peanuts gotten neglected. We literally had Rudolph was 60 years, Peanuts was 75.
And of course, they just do the Grinch, and there's not even an anniversary.
And then you had SpongeBob, which was 25 years, which was a huge thing this year, and all they could bring back was the 3.5 one at Lowe's and a weird one at Walmart. Grinch has always been big.
Oh yeah.
Grinch is always big. I feel the designs pretty much everything after 22 has been not so hot.
For the Grinch or just in general?
Just in general for Grinch.
Yeah, no,
I think they're just reused. I don't like the face.
I don't mind it on the teeter-totter, but
the teeter-totter it actually works because it's a little different. Because his eye is like, his eyes are a little different. They're not just, the Grinch eyes or whatever. Jeez, I cannot get off of that. We've been joking about the 6-foot fuzzy Grinch this whole entire time. That is one of the worst Grinches they have ever made to this date. I don't care what anyone says. I know a lot of people have it. I think that's just one of the worst ones. It's not as good as the 11-foot one. It is so proportioned, so weird. I cannot tolerate it. And it was made the same. I think it was 23 Black Friday, or was it 22 Black Friday?
2, I think.
Yeah, I got that one, I believe, and then I returned it because he would not stand up straight, like no matter what.
I've heard that too. No, the 11-foot one stands up great. It has a 125 in and everything. The only thing that happens is that his head wobbles in the wind. And it's actually funny because I have a video of it and it looks like he's like a bobblehead.
That's the funny thing about Grinches. Like, even my 2002 one, always the heads bobble on Grinches unless it's like a tiny one.
Mm-hmm.
And what else were we saying? Yeah, the 6-foot one, what I've seen, it's just the neck's always like leaning and it just looks so dumb. It just looks weird. It's so
the head does not look, they didn't proportion the head very well. It looks like avocado.
Yeah.
That's the best description I've heard of yet.
A fuzzy avocado. It must be moldy.
Yeah, like the one they made at Walmart this year.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really like that. If they had one at Walmart for like 75% off, I probably would have bought it just for the fan.
Yeah, the one you have is better with the glasses.
Yeah, I even have the Walmart one. That tells you how dedicated I am to that 22. And I even like the one from 21 or 20 where they had the fuzzy and then he was in the suit.
Wait, what? For what?
11-foot Grinch.
Oh, yeah, I like the 10-foot one where he's in the Santa suit. That fuzzy one, that's probably my favorite one.
Or the one with the book. That one's kind of interesting too.
Which one?
The one with the book. That one actually is kind of expensive to find.
I don't know. His face is a little off. The mouth.
It is weird, but I don't mind it. It's not the worst one.
I think the books
they've done. But I do like the concept.
But just imagine, though, like, when we were talking about SpongeBob stuff or, like, Snoopy, Rudolph, imagine there's just a bunch of random prototypes that are really cool that just never got made, that randomly show up that were supposed to be for this year.
I just hope we get to the point where stores are making better choices, because it seems like online has been really good for the last... I think it was last year Walmart was getting okay. They had like the Santa sleigh with all the fuzzy reindeer.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
But they didn't. But I think this year they got the globe and the other one this year instead, the train.
Yeah, but like in the online exclusives, Target. I shared this with you, I think last stream or whatnot. But Target was supposed to have a 12.5-foot Squid Games doll that played the Squid Games theme.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It rotated its head, and that never came out.
Wow.
Yeah, I can see why.
I mean, I'm kind of glad. Waste of a spot.
I don't know. I don't think that was really something they needed, though.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, with the release,
they had the little one. I guess they kind of sold that. I mean, they kind of sold that for. Did the Sawhead ever come out?
I don't think it did. Now that you say that. Wow.
I think they were planning for the Saw movie to come out, but that got delayed. So
maybe that'll get pushed. Because now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think that Demogorgon ever got released either. The 5-foot one.
I'm not sure.
Unless no one posted pictures, I don't know.
Line 9 is the one that sells a lot of the inflatables, so I wonder if they decided, you know what, screw it, we're not gonna sell it.
I do really like the 1 9.5 foot Frosty Amazon had. That one is like one of the only Frosties we've gotten in a long time, and I think that one's fantastic.
I bought it and it was a piece of shit, like normal.
I'm glad mine didn't have an issue, but I really like it. It inflates super tight. It wants to.
Yours
Like
inflates tight? Mine didn't inflate tight for squat.
Really? Mine. It's like it has a 200 in it. It's crazy.
It didn't want to explode at all.
Wow, I'm surprised. Mine
was
like
really mushy. It was
burst
mushy. It was mushier than my single one that I have.
Maybe that hole is affecting it or something. Because mine wants.
I don't know.
Like it has
Maybe
a 200 in it.
No, I didn't like it at all. Then they sewed it on wrong, hole, everything. So it just tells you the quality this year is just crap, or I'm just unlucky because I even bought an older one, a new in box, and it was a piece of crap. And he bought it from the same seller that I did, and his was perfect. So maybe I'm just meant to get all the defects, you know. I don't know. It's just kind of a crapshoot for me all the time. I have better luck buying used stuff and it's in better condition than the stuff I buy anymore new, which is kind of sad.
Yeah.
And then it didn't help this year because we didn't have a lot of snow, so a lot of my stuff got really dirty and dusty because we didn't have it like snow, because I normally have snow on my yard and stuff, so my stuff doesn't normally get dirty.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of my stuff didn't really necessarily get dirty, but still, it was kind of annoying. And then now we got snow anyway, so it's like, yeah, but I got them out before the snow because I didn't want to deal with the snow because it was too late. But no, I think this year they're getting in the right steps, but I want them to, I want them to make, those classes, some designs. It was real cool, and I like the Longhorn one, Longhorn with the Santa riding it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll have to do a stream about those in a couple days.
Mm-hmm. I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
Hopefully that one gets picked out. Tractor Supply, I could see maybe.
I don't know. I'll buy that. I just need to get the Sheriff's Snowman now.
Which one?
They need to make it. I think they made a Sheriff Snowman from years ago, but they need to remake it.
That one's extremely
rare.
I think that was exclusive to somewhere, or it was like Texas only or something.
Texas.
I like that in design. If they did a cowboy snowman,
I don't know. I would buy it just because I think it's funny.
Yeah, I could see it.
Kind of reminds me of like the older like Santa one with the reindeer.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
there's like a Santa with a cactus too from like 2005.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're never gonna get designs like 2005 ever again. But what do you do?
One can dream. But yeah, I think.
All right. Well, it's about 7:50. I think we summed it up pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Airblown Addiction will give out announcements on his community post if we're gonna have a live stream in the future. So just make sure you subscribe to him, and you'll keep updated that way. Thank you for joining us. I want to thank you for the participation. Thank you for support, and hopefully we can carry it all into 2025 and make it even a better year than this year. You just gotta wait and see. And I see promising results with that 20-foot bunny I've been seeing at home. That's pretty cool.
I actually really like that one, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But I've heard a lot of people not liking that one for whatever reason. I thought it actually was really good design.
Yeah, I kind of like it. But yeah, this was a great stream. Thank you for everyone that tuned in. Again, make sure to check out, obviously, Rocky Mountain Inflatables, and hopefully he's going to have some more reviews soon. And, of course, Deflated as well. I'm very glad you guys both got to come on the stream and just discuss about the inflatables this year. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, that sums it up perfectly. Thank you for having us, and thank you for living your last moments of 2024 with us. Now, go enjoy your New Year's Eve, see the ball drop, and let's ring in a good year.
Yep. Let's get ready for 2025.
Totally.
You're